This is FM 89.9 KMOJ. We are the People's Station. This is the program, The African Roots Connection. A pleasant good morning to you. My name is Charles Dennis. And if you're listening, don't forget, tomorrow from 2 to 4, we will be at the State Fair. The African Roots Connection will be there. I will be there. I'll be bringing you some calypso, some reggae, and lots of African music. So again, if you're from the African continent or Pan-Africanism, period it is, right? From the Caribbean, wherever you are, show up tomorrow. Sympathizers of African and the Caribbean, just show up, man. This is going to be first in the history of the State Fair, and for KMOJ to give us a slot to play just our music and just do things the way we do it. So I would like to see every fan of the African Roots Connection showing up tomorrow at the State Fair from 2 all the way to 6. Nothing but Afro music, man. Come on. So be there, and I'll be there too. All right, check you out there. Coming up on the program this morning, we do have a guest. You know, this is the normally we bring folks on this program who you've heard about, have got an organization, has got doing something what we call large. But this is going to be doing something deep, right? Something that connects you to the roots, something that makes you feel connected, makes you feel belong, makes you feel value. And so we got a brother on the program this morning. His name is Brian Hooper. And so we'll be talking with him, Brian Hooper. We're going to be talking to Brian this morning because Brian, he's got this passion, right, that connects him to the African roots, and he's just not feeling it. He's just not thinking about it, but he's acting upon it. He's got these YouTube channels that help to spread the word. He speaks. He's also been to the motherland, and he's purchased land down there. So he's someone who's lived in two separate worlds, and he can connect us and tell us the truth about this, where we live, and about that, where we should be living. So coming up shortly, we'll be talking to Brian Hooper on the program, The African Roots Connection, KMOJ FM 89.9. We are the People's Station. FM 89.9 KMOJ. This is the African Roots Connection. On air every Saturday from 9 to 10. And if you download the TuneIn apps and check out, search for KMOJ, we are there on your mobile device. And don't forget also, we do have the ICE, KMOJ 89.9 digital radio too. So check that out on your digital devices, KMOJ, the ICE. And so this morning we will talk, like I said, we'll be talking to Brian Hooper. And again, he's a brother who has made his journey to Ghana in search for his roots. He's made that deeper connection. And as he said, there's nothing more gratifying, more satisfying than the journey he made. So Brian, good morning and welcome to the program, The African Roots Connection. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah. And so, first of all, just tell us a little bit about you, like, where you grew up, your passion, and what have you. So the listeners can have a little bit of idea of who we're going to be talking to for the next hour.
Yeah, no problem. My name is Brian Hooper. I'm from Minneapolis. That's where I was born. But I grew up in Burnsville. I'm 27 years old.
Burnsville, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, don't get it confused. You might think it's the suburbs when you first hear about it, but my experiences were just like any other typical young poor black man growing up in America. So I got a bachelor's degree from SCSU, and then right now I'm 7 weeks away from my master's degree from Concordia.
Oh, okay.
In St. Paul.
Okay, master's in what?
Sport management.
Okay, cool. That's great. So okay, most people, including me, when we hear about a young man growing up in Burnsville, they're far removed from things that you're passionate about, like, your roots to Africa and how people portray Africa and how people portray black people. So tell us, how did you make that connection living in the midst of white suburban Minnesota?
Definitely. Well, my family, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa's from the Bahamas. Let's get that out the way. And my mom and my grandma, they're from Florida. So I've always been deeply connected to the islands or to African culture. I grew up around Somalians, I grew up around Mexicans, I grew up around Russians. So I've always had a sense of culture around me. And I've also been around a variety of different people growing up my whole life. Most of my friends are African. So I've always had a deep connection with Africa, and I've always known I was African, enslaved to America.
So some people struggle with the fact that foreigners, period, are people you don't know. And because you don't know them, you're not too comfortable with them, and therefore you don't want to connect with them. How is it you were able to do the opposite?
Well, I was able to connect with people in Ghana specifically because they speak English, and they welcomed me with open arms. They didn't treat me like I was an outsider. They were treating me like, bro, why is it taking you so long to get home? For everybody I met in the specific town that I was in, which was Kaswa in Ghana, they had never met a black American before, which had surprised me. I'm like, really? And they were 17, 23, some of them were 30 years old, 40 years old. I was the first black American they ever met. So I was like, wow, yeah, that tells me that a lot of our people are missing out on these great opportunities and are not connecting back home, and they should be.
So what made you want to connect with Africa or go back to Africa?
Well, I feel like I'm a very wise young man. I've always had older friends who have given me knowledge and wisdom, so I've always been more mature than my age. So knowing as I wake up every day and I see, the Philando Castillos, the Trayvon Martins, the daily pattern of us being target practice, getting gunned down every day, and it's becoming a norm. People are getting used to it, and it's fine with them. And we can go back even further than that, Emmett Till, and then beyond and before that, we have so many bodies laying in the streets, and everybody's being normal with it, and it's fine with them. But it's not with me. I'm not that kind of person. My mom didn't raise me that way. I have a warrior mindset. So target practice on me is not going to happen. So it's either fight back or find another way. And we have to find a combination of doing both. So I found another way. And actually, I didn't find another way. It's been out there. The information just wasn't readily available to us. And now it is because we have internet. So we have plenty of older black Americans that have been in Ghana for 30, 40 years, thriving out there. You can go to YouTube and type in Mama Imahkus, Imahkus. She owns One Africa Resort in Elmina, right on the coast. Beautiful resort. And it's owned by a black lady who's from New York. She's been there 30, 40 years. And so we have plenty of opportunities in Ghana, and we need to connect there.
So besides your grandfather and your mother, who were very Afrocentric and kind of kept that in your forefront of your mind, what was growing up in school like? I mean, being a black kid in Burnsville.
Yeah, it was different, man. So like I said, even though I was in Burnsville, I grew up in low income housing. I was surrounded by poor people, Somalians, Russians, Asians. So it was different. So you had the people who lived in my neighborhood who knew what it is and what we have to go through on a daily basis to survive. Like for instance, I'm one of the best running backs at the time at my high school, but I can't afford cleats. I'm an all-star on the football team, but I can't afford new cleats, or my cleats are too small. So how do I go about getting money or telling my coaches who don't understand me or haven't even tried to connect with me that, hey, your best player doesn't even have the proper equipment to play the game. So it's tough, man, and a lot of people don't understand you. They don't try to understand you, besides those who look like you. So you you make that bond and that connection with those who are of like mind, and you just try to survive. And it's tough, man. It's real tough.
So basically, it was like most kids were at home. It was different, and then out there in the streets, at school was a different world.
Yeah,
right?
school and the streets are two different ball games. The school, everybody's together. It's fun and games. Everybody can mix, have a good time because it's class and in school and sports. But outside of that, the real world hits you, and the rich kids go back to their nice houses and they live comfortably, and then we go back to low income housing where we got to deal with drugs and and violence and poverty.
How did you resist the temptation of going down the path of maybe selling drugs or doing something bad?
Let me stop you right there. I fell into the same traps that most of us do. I was just lucky enough to see the light earlier than most before it completely trapped me in. I fell into trouble.
Okay.
I got into trouble definitely. And I had definitely had major setbacks that could have affected my schooling. But I knew I was here for a bigger purpose, and regardless of what roadblocks they threw at me, I was going to overcome them. So that's just me. I don't care what they throw at me. I'm always going to overcome it and remain on top.
So if there's some young folks listening to you who actually are having some setbacks right now from high school level, like what advice can you throw at them?
You have to keep grinding. You can't let the small things affect your overall life, because nobody can control your future but you. They can deter it, can throw roadblocks in it, can knock you down, but you have to get back up, keep fighting, because I've been through it all. Like I said, I have a PhD in the streets, but I'm 7 weeks away from a master's degree in the books.
Okay.
So
after masters, what are you planning on doing with your degree?
I want to be an athletic director. Sports program director is what I'm aiming for right now. But I want to be an athletic director. I love sports and everything about sports and how it brings people together.
Do you have some mentors right now, people you're talking to that can kind of open doors for you?
I do. I have plenty.
Okay. Okay. So you're on the right track, man. All right, that's good. So growing up in high school, Burnsville, White, Minnesota, there was some setbacks. You realized that you and your friends who sat next to one another in class and laugh and talk, but at the end of the day, real war hits, right? You go one side of the track, I'll go on the other side of the track. Right?
Correct.
And so you're going through those things. What brought this sense of being black to you? Because there's times where when some of us go through issues like those, we break, right? We accept what they think of us. We're like, okay, yep, they think I'm no good. Maybe I'm no good, so I may as well just live a no good life, right?
I thrive. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. So yeah, I've had plenty of growing up as a young man. You think about all those things. Do I try to act more white, or should I try to not be less black to try to fit in? My mom just raised me to always love myself, and I've always loved being black. I've never tried to be something I wasn't, and that's the beauty of it. I made people accept me for who I am, whether they liked it or not. And unfortunately, I'm fortunate enough to have people who did, whether they were black or not. They embraced how I loved myself and how I came about my views and my personality and how I looked at life, and where I'm trying to head and bring my people in the direction I'm trying to bring them in. They caught on to it. They listened. It was tough at first, but I've always stood on my own and was firm to my decisions and my way of life, because I knew it was the right way.
So think back and tell me, where were you? What were you doing when they announced the results that Barack Obama was the first black president of America?
I can't remember how old I was. I might have been like, I don't know, like 18 or 16, around there. But it was a nice feeling, but I was a lot wiser than that. So I was like, okay, that's nice, but let's see what he does for us, you know? And like I said, I've always had that wisdom from older people, so I've always thought about the next step.
Yeah, the next step.
And so I was like, okay, let's see what he does for us. And he proved me right. He didn't do much for us. So yeah. So
but do you think a president can do much though?
No. I don't think he can do. He can do some, but I think we can do more on the local level.
Yes.
I think that's where we need to start focusing our energy, and it's tough because people are just sucked into the presidential election all the time. We need to start advertising and marketing more on the local side of things and getting to know every city's mayor and governor. But
so you know, folks would think that with your passion about being an African American or an African or whatever you want to call it, Pan-Africanist, maybe to follow your passion, you probably could have gone to history route in school and learned some history, or gone the political route where like Barack Obama or Keith Ellison, you can make that change in your community. What do you say to that?
I say, here's what I think. We need to start focusing on Africa, because Africa is on the rise, everybody's in Africa. The colonizers are in Africa. The Chinese are in Africa. Everybody's over there trying to get all of the natural resources. So Africa is right now the reserve for the rest of the world. And we as African Americans, we have a right and can have our foothold in Africa and do everything we want to do here, there, for a lot less money and a lot less stress. So Africa is the way. Like I said, we can do anything we want there for cheap, and they've been waiting for us to come home. They're welcoming us, and like I said, they haven't even met too many of us, and they're waiting for us to come home. So that's what we need to focus on.
So we gotta go there, okay. And so you've got these. There's some YouTube channels that you're affiliated with. Share a little bit about those.
Yes, well, you can check my YouTube video out, and I'll continue to put out more videos as they come. It's called My Journey to Ghana. The YouTube name is Adano Ali, Adano Ali, which is Ali. My Journey to Ghana. Go to YouTube, type it in. You'll see my entire trip of what I did in Ghana. You'll see me walking by the beach. You'll see where I purchased my land at, which is right near the ocean. The best view you can get, I'm talking about in the world. That view where I bought my land at in Ghana will cost you $1 million here, and I got it for $2,000.
Okay.
And so I'm right by the ocean, man, and you can't beat it.
So this morning we're having a conversation with Brian Hooper, and he's what I call a young progressive Pan-Africanist, right? And he is following his dreams. He's allowing his African spirits to move him. At this young age, he has took a journey. He took a journey to Africa, and not only went as a tourist to sightsee, but planted a seed in Africa and put his sticks down there. And like proverbial Southern people say, put down your bucket, right? So he bought a piece of land in Ghana, and actually, at the age of 27, he's bought a piece of land in Africa because he does intend on making that his home. And so we're having a conversation with him. I just want to, he called on the program, a few Saturdays ago, and what he said kind of resonated with me, and I kind of wanted to take what he said, put it on a larger platform, and so let's have a discussion about this on the radio. Share your passion with me. And so that's how he made a year on the program. He doesn't have a big organization, or he's not a philanthropist, or he's not doing,
regular guy.
Yeah, the big old things out there you see, but he's just doing something very deep, right? And I think, again, it's a shining example for not only young people, but for even older people to really stop and retrospectively look at what are we doing, how much longer we have to be. And then we leave this earth, what are we leaving? What would our legacy be? Are we going to continue to allow our people to be in bondage, modern bondage? Well, there's no newts, right? There's no, pervasive Jim Crow or apparent Jim Crow, but we know the institution is still geared towards, inequality. It's still geared towards that unequalness where we encounter every day, from the grocery store or to the valet parking or to going to the mall and people following you. We see those things all being shot, by a police officer while you're running away. But he says, I fear for my life, and then he gets off the hook, right? And then another person shoots another person running away and then uses the same excuse that I was in fear of my life. So if someone is running away from you, but you claim fear and you kill the person, and yet still you get off. So there are many ills in the society today that we are experiencing as black people. And the question is, what are we going to do about it, right? If this is systemic and it's been around for 500-600 years, do you want to be in this for another 500-600 years, or you want to go to a land where you are the king, right? A land where you are you, and you're free, and you connect with the earth. You're one with nature and the spirits of your ancestors. So we'll take a musical break, Brian. We'll be right back. We'd like to play a song by Yuma Sakila. And this song is very, very powerful because he wrote this song when he, for the coal miners who would get on a choo-choo train and go into the coal mines. And sometimes their kids would never see them again, or their wives would never see them again. So every time they got on that train to go down, it could be the last time.
There's a train that comes from Namibia and Malawi. There's a train that comes from Zambia and Zimbabwe. There's a train that comes from Angola and Mozambique, from Lesotho, from Botswana, from Swaziland, from all the hinterlands of Southern and Central Africa. This train carries young and old African men who are conscripted to come and work on contract in the gold and mineral mines of Johannesburg and its surrounding metropoli. 16 hours or more a day for almost no pay. Deep, deep, deep down in the belly of the earth, when they are digging and drilling for that shiny, mighty, evasive stone, or when they dish that mishmash mash food into their iron plates with the iron shovel, or when they sit in their stinky, funky, filthy, flea-ridden barracks and hostels, they think about the loved ones they may never see again because they might already have been forcibly removed from where they last left them, or wantonly murdered in the dead of night by roving and marauding gangs of no particular origin. We are told. They think about their lands and their herds that were taken away from them with the gun and the bomb and the tear gas and the Gatling and the cannon. And when they hear that choo-choo train, a chugging and a pumping and a smoking and a pushing and a pumping, a crying and a steaming and a chicken and a they always cuss and they curse the coal train that brought them to Johannesburg. hambanga malahle siveleta la kupayi sangela wa buka hey baby what is this mama malahle so mama malahle stimela si hambanga malahle siveleta la kupayi helele sangela wa kupa hey baby what is this mama malahle Paisa we no what is simela shisa siteni ngezi kasi yele mambe let me go ye mama what is simela sikane nisi tara zetu baba masibu yele netanago kale nisi
the son of Umasakila, the greatest of greats from the continent of Africa, Southern Africa. Umasakila Simala, and the song he made for the coal miners in the southern part of Africa during the apartheid regime, and some of them would get on the train to go and earn a living and weren't sure if they were coming back to their families or not. Love that song. Depicting the struggles of black South Africans. This is the program, The African Roots Connection, coming to you live, and we're here every Saturday from 9 to 10. Don't forget, we will be at the State Fair tomorrow from 2 to 6. The African Roots Connection will be there playing you some African music. Come down, bring your country flag, bring a towel to wave or whatever, because you know how we do it. Let's dance, and don't worry about Monday. It's not work, it's holiday. So come out of State Fair on Sunday from 2 to 6 and just dance your troubles away, your worries away to some Afro beats. I'll be there. Like I said, I will play for you these songs and more. And so I want you to be my guest, my very, very special guest, okay? KMOJ has not done this before, so it's an honor that they give a slot to the African Roots Connection. Let's get all Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanists down there and make a Pan-African event. So looking forward to seeing you all beautiful people tomorrow at State Fair from 2 to 4. And don't come with some heels because we will be dancing in the rain, okay? So come on down, get your flip-flops on, your tennis shoes, let's dance a little bit. This is FM 89.9 KMOJ. We are the People's Station. My guest this morning is Brian Hooper, and we've been talking about his deep passion for Africa. Growing up in Burnsville, suburban white Minnesota, he found his roots, connected with his roots, and allowed that to lead him. And now he made a trip to Africa, actually. Went to Ghana and purchased a land in Ghana, not as a tourist, but as a citizen, a landowner. And so we would continue the conversation with him. He's tell us more about his journey and then his plans and his dreams for the next few years to come. He is 7 weeks away from getting his master's from Concordia in sports management. And so now that let's just talk about the degree for a minute there. You're getting a degree in sports management. How will that degree play out in Ghana?
Exactly. So when you go to school, obviously you want to go for something that you love and you enjoy. And I love sports and everything about it, from sport business to sport programming to any and all things related to sports. So how does that relate to my journey to Ghana?
Mm-hmm.
After I build my house, and along with some other businesses I got working on, I will build a community recreation center in the area that I purchased land in. So we'll have a community rec center. It'll be for everybody of the community, of course. And what I'm doing to prepare for that now is we have to see, this is the thing, we have to do things ahead of time and be ahead of the game. So what I'm doing to prepare for that rec center now is I'm collecting a whole bunch of sporting equipment in my garage. I got tennis balls, football, soccer balls, any and everything related to sports, so that by the time it comes and the facility is made, I'll already have all the equipment and I have the expertise as far as the paperwork and everything else that needs, the logistics that needs to go into it. So that's my passion, man, sports. And I'm going to bring a community rec center to Senya Baraku in Ghana after I build my home.
Now, so when do you intend to start to put the bricks to the ground for the home?
Oh, man, we're already rolling. So, I got my borehole, that'll be, which is my water source, that'll be coming here in the next 3 weeks. And then after that is when my wall will go up. So in the next 30 days to 2 months, you'll see my water source be put in, and you'll also see my perimeter wall being built. I've already got the blueprints done. I've already got all the paperwork done as far as getting everything signed by the chief and me signing everything. So yeah, next thing is just the borehole and then the wall and then the building.
Okay. So you got your mom here, you got families here. How are they gonna go to Ghana with you? How's that gonna work?
Yeah, so you got to slowly uncondition everybody, including your own family. We all come from that conditioned mindset, including myself. I didn't just wake up and knew that I wanted to go to Ghana. It had took me 26 years to really get it right. And I got it right quicker than most. But my mom is on deck. She's once I build this house, that'll be her house. She'll retire in there, and that's where she'll live the rest of her life at. So once the house is built, she'll go live in there. She's on board, and then 5 to 10 years from after that, I will retire there after I go back and forth building it up, doing business in Ghana and doing business in here. As far as the rest of my family goes, some of them are on board, some of them still need a little more convincing. But for the most part, most of my family's with it. They're like, yes, this is a way to build generational wealth. We're mad that more people haven't, known about this. It took a 27-year-old to really put it out there as far as to the family. It should have been we need more older people and younger people on board to really spread this information. But my family's on board.
Okay, if mom is cool, we cool, right?
Yeah, mom is good. Mom is good.
Now, so how did you?
It took some convincing for her as well.
Hey, but how did you plan on this whole trip to Africa? Like, walk us through some of the things that you went through to really get to the point where you purchased a ticket to go.
Yeah, things working is destiny, man. They just happen for you. So before that, I already had a trip planned to Jamaica. So I was already booked to go to Jamaica, and I just got back I went to Jamaica in this past May. So, but for a year or so, I had been, actually right after I booked my trip to Jamaica, I had started studying repatriation to Ghana, how we can get dual citizenship there. As African Americans, we can go there and become citizens, and then we can buy land, and we can live in peace. And I heard that it's a very peaceful place. So I just started watching YouTube videos. You can go to YouTube, type in search for Uhuru. That's search for UHURU. You can also go to YouTube and type in Bomani Tyehimba. Bomani is BOMANI. Tyehimba is TYEHIMBA. Bomani Tyehimba, and search for Uhuru. Those are two YouTube channels that provided me with a lot of information about Africa and how it really is, and how they see African Americans. And so that's what got me rolling. That's what started the journey. So I watched those channels, and it gave me a lot of information as who I can connect with. and give me the real visual of Africa and specifically Ghana. So then I started looking at building in Ghana. How can I build a house in Ghana now that I have the information that I can get dual citizenship in Ghana? And I came across this YouTube channel by the name of Double A, Building in Ghana. So I contacted the brother through the comment section, like, hey, I see you're building a house. You know, can you give me some pointers? How much did it cost? How big is your land? And he contacted me back, and he's like, here's my email. So I hit him. I asked him some more questions through email, and then after the email, it led to a phone number. So the brother didn't know me. He didn't know where I was from or nothing. He was like, you got a lot of questions here. Give me a call if you're in the States. His number was a 651 area code number.
Oh, simple.
So yeah, destiny. So I was like, wow, this brother's in the same state as me. So I called him. We talked for about 2 hours. He gave me all the information I needed. Then we actually met up. You know, we got some food. We went to the range, and then we had some fun, man. And then he's like 45, 50 years old with a family, has a house here. He's rich here, but he's building a house in Ghana as well. So I was like, brother, why are you just now doing this? I started asking him all the right questions. You know, why are you just now waking up? How come you haven't been doing this? He said, you know, our people are just now realizing what we have back home, and it's time for all of us to wake up. So he brought me under his wing like I was his son, man, and he guided me all the way there.
Well, I look at share, like you share this information with me. I look at get him on, so you can tell everybody how to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me what it felt like when you boarded the plane to go to Ghana.
Time. I mean, when I boarded the plane, I didn't feel too good. I don't like plane rides. But when I landed in Ghana for the first time, man, I just felt a huge weight lifted off my shoulder for some reason. Like, I mean, you can feel it. It's a physical aura type of a deal. You can feel it, the weight lifted off your shoulder, and it was just peace. I didn't have any drama or no static with anybody. You know, they constantly put that propaganda in our community that Africans don't like African Americans. You know, I grew up with that propaganda, but I knew it wasn't true because I had a lot of African friends. But everyone else sees it differently. But when I landed there, it was beautiful, man. Everybody welcomed me. They treated me like I was their brother, and they embraced me. And they were like, man, we haven't seen enough of y'all. So, you know, the only perception they get of us is the one on TV, which is the wrong one. Yeah, and so they finally met me there. It was all love, and they embraced me, man, and we had an amazing time.
So in Ghana, I'm sure you had an opportunity to try the food, right?
Yes, amazing food.
What's your favorite?
Man, my favorite food would probably be banku and wache.
Okay.
And those two are probably on the top. Now, I had a lot of things. I had light soup. I had fufu.
Yeah.
I had some goat. I had some guinea fowl. I had a lot of good things, but banku and wache, those are my two favorites.
Okay. Did you bring back any recipe books or?
I wish, man. No, I was just on business when I was there. Like I said, I just got back from Jamaica. You know, that's another thing I want to tell the youth. You know, I've lived that flashy life. You know, I've had all the clothes, the cars, the women, and jewelry. You know, and now
at 27, right?
At 27, at 27, and I've also got my degrees and all that. So I've lived the flashy life in the United States, and it's not fun. You know, I've been to Vegas, and I just recently got back from Jamaica. Ghana is like a bigger Jamaica. It's way bigger, and the people are just like the ones in Jamaica. And there's a lot of Jamaicans in Ghana, and you wonder why.
Oh, yeah. Jamaicans love Africa.
So
Africa,
Ghana, man, it was the best trip I ever went on in my life. I was only there for 5 days. I was really just there on business because I wanted to buy land. I knew that was what I wanted to do, but best thing I ever did in my life, man. The air quality there is unbelievable. You would think that, you know, it's not good. No, the air quality there is fresh. I have asthma here, so I know I use an inhaler constantly. There, I didn't even think about it.
Really? Wow. So we're talking to Brian Hooper, and again, he's a 27-year-old brother. Grew up in Burnsville, and then he, got this very deep love for Africa, which led him to a pilgrimage to Ghana. And while he was there, he purchased a land by the ocean.
Yes, sir.
And he's thinking about building his house first, and then maybe building a rec center in Ghana where he can actually use his master degree in sports management. And so we're very privileged to have you in the program because, again, like I said, you called in one time and things you were saying on the short phone call led me to say, hey, maybe we need to have a bigger conversation with this brother, right?
Yes,
share
sir.
with
I appreciate
us his passion. Tell me, now, you went to Ghana and it was this aha moment. It was great. It was wonderful. what were some of the disappointments and what were some of the highlights? Share with us the experience of just
So in this, I asked people, because who I was staying with was they were Ghanaian, but they were from New York. They had a guest house called Capri Guest House.
How did you connect with them?
So yeah, through the YouTube channels, I connected with another brother. So I connected with Double A. He lives in Minnesota. Through Search for Uhuru's YouTube channel, I connected with a brother named Philip Jow. You can look him up. His dad was a professional soccer player. He was once a professional soccer player. His son Joe Jow is currently a professional soccer player. So he's rich here. He has 2 houses here in the States, but he's also building a house in Ghana. And he got expired from Double A. So that's why I'm telling you, all these things work in a circle.
Well, I need Double A on this program.
Yeah, you do. So Philip Jow, I reached out to him, and so because when I went to Ghana, I wanted to make sure I had multiple sources to reach out to, not just one in case one fell out. Yeah. So I had 3 different ones, and none of them knew each other. So I had Double A, I had Philip Jow's connections, and I also had Bomani Tyehimba's connections, and none of them knew each other. But when I got there, I connected all 3 of them.
Nice.
But so Philip Jow, he connected me with his right-hand man, which is Prempe. He picked me up from the airport, guided me to each and every site where I wanted to look at for land. And he treated me like I was son. He brought me to a guest house, which is in the city he lives in Kaswa, so that he could pick me up every day and we can go out and look at more land. So he treated me like I was son. I ate with his family. I met his wife. Everybody embraced me like I was their family, and it was a beautiful thing. Yeah, so Philip Jow, definitely.
So then tell us now, what was the disappointing part of the trip, or the highlights? Give us a wide range of things you experienced going to Ghana for the first time.
Not too many disappointing things, man. The funniest, I guess, disappointing thing was when the lights go out. The lights go out every now and again in Ghana. So it was my first night out kicking it at the bar and restaurant where my guest house was. It was a guest house, bar, and restaurant. Right. So we out there having fun, listening to music, and then the lights go out, boom. Yeah. And then everybody started laughing. I started laughing too because it was my first time in Ghana. I'm like, well, at least I get to experience lights out while I'm here for this short time. So it was cool, man. Everybody got lights. We kept eating some food while they went and got lights, and then I went and got my portable speaker and played some music in the dark off my portable speaker. So we kept the party going, like family should.
So it was like, for you, it was like, shocking that light went out. But for folks, it was like, it's gonna come on.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't a bad experience. It was a funny experience. Right. It was an experience that I wanted, that I'm glad I got to feel. And so, there was nothing disappointing, man. I had no problem with the people. Nobody looked at me sideways. Like I said, I have a PhD in the street, so I can tell when somebody's BSing me or trying to play me. I didn't feel none of those vibes. It was all love, true love, and they can't wait for me to get back there.
That's great. Yeah, it's funny because when growing up, there's certain parts of the year, especially if your country has the electricity through a hydro dam where the water flows. So during the rainy season, you have enough water to kind of generate power, right, through the hydro dam. But if there's the dry season where the sun is at its very peak and the water evaporates, then you have less water trying to generate power. So then you ration power, like you give one side of the city power this time of day and the next. So it's kind of funny where it was one of those things that was normal, right, for us growing up. It goes out and then maybe 20 minutes after or 10 minutes after it comes on, right? So you just wait. So come on. So it was kind of interesting that you noticed that. So did you ever do something that you normally wouldn't do here, like maybe go on a walk into the dark forest at night where there's no street lights, where there's this bright shiny moon, or that you watch the kids play outside in the moonlights, and some of those things?
I did a lot of things, man. I went on and looked at a lot of land because I was there for a short time. So I was out in the woods, in the wilderness, and you think, they stereotypes of Africa. Well, you're out in the middle of the woods and jungle, there's probably gonna be giraffes and monkeys.
Right.
It wasn't like that at all. You can watch my video.
There wasn't no Tarzan movie.
There was nothing. There was nothing at all. So I think the only animal I seen was a lizard and a dead scorpion. So nothing major. And I was all through the woods. I was looking at land, so it was nothing. There was nothing around.
But you also had time with the city.
Not much. I experienced some time with the youth. I went to a school. One of the gentlemen, nephew who I was staying with, he had to drop something off at his school, so I went with him. And just to see the school, it was a school that had high school, middle school, and elementary all in one, just to see how the youth were and how they interacted. So I didn't do too much sightseeing. I was there strictly on business for land.
Because normally, we normally do K-12 in on the same campus, right?
Okay.
You know, it's like that. We don't separate them very highly, rarely. But I mean, like when you landed from the airport, you probably drove through the city a little bit.
Definitely,
right?
Old Barrier Junction. That's where the young crowd is. So if y'all want to turn up, go to Old Barrier Junction in the crowd. I'm talking about. It was a Monday and it was 12 o'clock at night. We went there to get some food because we had just left the airport and from picking somebody else up. And I get there, it's beautiful women everywhere. The girls out there twerking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, it was a young crowd out there. It was fun, and it's also a food spot. So if you want to have a good time, go to Old Barrier Junction in the crowd.
Look at you. You telling folks about your home now, right? This is my country.
It's all good.
That's cool. So I don't know if I'm sure you know about the grave site of Du Bois.
Yes.
He was buried there. So what you're doing now, it's nothing. It's nothing new.
Not at all.
It is the same. But so tell us about. Did you learn any African American history while you were there?
No, like I said, I went there strictly on business because I was only there for 5 days. The next time I go, that's when I'll be on a touristic type of trip. I wanted to really connect and get a foothold and get stabilized in Ghana. That's what this trip was all about. It wasn't about being a tourist. It wasn't about learning more about my history that I already know. I wanted to take it to the next level, above the touristic level.
So you want to go from like, I read about it and I want to taste it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to feel it. The touristic side of things is fun. I went to Africa and went back to America. No, I want to go in Africa and live in Africa and live in peace. And I can do that.
So if
I'm going to show people how to do it.
If folks listen to the program, want to connect with you, I know you had this inspiration from Double A and some other folks, but I just want you to know how real this is, right? This is real stuff. This is deep, right? We who are from the continent, we always the ones who've got some sense, right?
Yeah.
There's crazy folks everywhere.
Yeah.
But some of us who've got some sense, we know that. I think it was Malcolm X that said that in Africa it's like a lady who gave birth to 2 kids. One travel and one stay. Now when they meet, they're still brothers. They're still siblings, right? They're not. You can't say you're not my sibling because you've been abroad for a long time. We still from the same womb, and that's how most of us from the continent see the African Americans. We may be apart for 600 years, but we still siblings, right? From the same womb, the same mother. And that's Mother Africa. And so we are always very happy when we can make that connection. But for the most part, we always come here in search for better lifestyle. But it's always a great privilege when folks from here go there and search for peace, right? Because we've got that peace and connection with nature there in the mountains, like you said. Having a land where you can view the ocean waves from your property, that's
yes,
prime,
sir.
right? That's something we take for granted there. But this is a very profound moment where a young man, 27 years old, can go to Africa and buy a land in Africa and say, this is my ancestors' roots and this is where I want to connect, right? As I want to plant my seeds right here. And I think that's very profound. For me, that drove me more than anything else to want to give you a platform on KMOJ this morning to just talk about your experience, because can you imagine if more people would do what you do? We wouldn't have this nonsense going on between, the African Americans don't like Africans and Africans don't like, because we would know, we would experience it.
Exactly.
There would be no, I have to read or have to listen to the news to tell me about my brother. I would know my brother. I would be able to feel him, right, and know him very well, or her. I mean, so this is great. I just want to let you know that to you, it may be something small, but to the world is huge, that you will take this step at this young age.
Yeah, and I'm not the only person doing this. I'm the one of the younger ones doing it. From the people I know, but I'm not the only one. There's actually another. Actually, no, I'm wrong. There's another young brother who's actually just bought land next to me on the same hill.
Oh, really?
And he's I think he's like 19 to 20. I think he's from Atlanta though, so I got to try to connect with him. And his name is Jordan, but I haven't spoke with him, but I know of him. And you can watch videos on Bomani Tai Himba's YouTube channel, and you can see that. You can see these things on YouTube, Instead of having people always tell you about Africa and tell you not to do this and tell you not to do that, I'm showing you. You can go physically see these things and touch these things and and do whatever you want. Anything we want to do here, any small business ideas we have here, we can go do those things in all over Africa. Specifically, Ghana is where I'm going, but you can do anything you want all over Africa if you're black.
So again, give us some of these YouTube channels that we can share with the listeners so they can go and look at it and get inspired as you have.
I got you. Yeah, make sure y'all get y'all pen and paper ready. It's a long list. So you can watch my video if you want to see my experience. Type in YouTube, My Journey to Ghana. The YouTube channel name is Adano Ali, Adano Ali. If you want to see a channel about connecting Africans and African Americans, you type in search for Uhuru in YouTube. That's SEARCH 4, which is FOR, Uhuru, UHURU. You can also type in Bomani Tyehimba, BOMANI TYEHIMBA, Bomani Tyehimba, and he does Africans for the Africans repatriation tours. He takes a lot of people from the African diaspora and takes them on a tour around Ghana and connects them with a variety of people. He's the one that connected me with my land. So Bomani, although he does tours, he's a great resource. He's all about connecting African Americans and Africans of the diaspora back to Africa. So he connected me with a specific spot of where I bought my land at. I had a lot of connections through AA. I also had connections through Philip Jow as to where to buy land, but ultimately I bought my land where Bomani connected me.
Okay, man. So and that's a great point. So again, let's wrap this up by you sharing a message with the young folks who are not thinking the way you're thinking now. But I'm sure in your mind you were like, man, I should have done this a little sooner, right? So make that connection.
Yeah, my message to the youth would be just just listen to me. I'm not here to tell you about it. I'm showing you how to do it, and I don't want you to follow me. You can join me right at my hip, and we can do this together. But if you don't have to stay here and be target practice. There are other opportunities for you. There are other ways to go about living life, and many of us have done it. So if you want to connect to Ghana or connect to any part of Africa, for a better opportunity, we're the only group of people that are not international. Black people are stationed in the U.S. and that's it. Everybody else is international. They can go to Liberia, they can go to Cambodia, they can go to Russia, and then back to America. We got to start being international, and we have to start thinking about international money and making international moves, and that's how we survive and become better as a people.
Great. So I see you got your Gave shirt on?
Yes, sir. RBG to the
Gave hoodie?
Oh, hold on, man. You ain't even see the slippers, though.
Oh, he got the red, green, and black, right?
Yeah, man.
And then Bungo Miners got the red, green, and gold. That's the
True African
right
colors,
there.
man.
Yeah, so, man, Brian Hooper, thanks for stopping by this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you make the connection with Double A. Want to bring him back. Maybe you can even join him, right?
Yeah, why not?
On the show. Both of you guys can come back home and let's talk more about this whole repatriation thing to Africa, because it's coming home, baby.
Definitely.
It's home, right? That's what we want it to be. So a pleasure to talk to you this morning. This is the program, The African Roots Connection. And don't forget, we'll be at the State Fair tomorrow from 2 to 6. Come on down, say hi to me, dance to some African music. Come wave your flags, wave your handkerchief. Don't come with some heels because we're dancing, right? So come on down and let's enjoy some beautiful African music. This is the first time KMOJ 89.9 is giving a slot to the African Roots Connection to just play African music from 2 to 6. So it'll be a fun time. Come on down and don't worry about eating. Don't worry about the kids. The kids love the music. The food all around you. So just come. Don't worry about going to work on Monday because it's a holiday. What's your excuse? Come on down and come see me and say hi to me. It'd be a pleasure to see you. This is African Roots Connection again. My name is Charles Dennis, and I want you to have a very pleasant weekend. It's a long weekend, y'all, so have some fun, and don't forget, make a connection in Africa. All right, Brian, take care, man. All right, bye.